Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Mr. Money TV live on Thursday night. And this is Peter,
Yo,
Mr. Money.
what's up, everybody? This is Frankie here. Nice to see you guys again on a Thursday.
Yeah. All right. If you guys can hear us loud and clear, please write one in the comment. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is everybody doing tonight? And let us know. And if you can hear us, please type one in the comment box.
Now, today we're going to be talking about a topic that
Mm.
I know quite many people are interested about,
Yes.
relating to cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Right? This is one topic that generally we try not to touch too much as our
Mm.
main topic,
Mm.
but is it? No, lah. Actually, we talk
No,
about Bitcoin quite
actually,
a
we
lot.
do quite talk a bit.
Really?
Uh,
Okay, lah. Can't help, right?
relatively lesser, but still quite a bit.
Yeah, relatively lesser,
Yeah.
but still quite a bit. Nonetheless, uh, now
Mm.
ETF for Ethereum
Ethereum.
launch,
Yes.
yeah, a few days back.
Just 2 days ago.
2
only.
days back, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about it when it was launched, Frankie? Yeah, you feel the same sense of excitement around Bitcoin, yeah?
I was anticipating it. I was excited about it, but I know for a fact that it may not garner the same kind of interest as compared to Bitcoin ETF. Yeah, I think it has got to do with the characteristics of the two different coins. Yeah.
Yeah. So before I dive into that, right?
Mm.
When we talk about market sentiment from what you have seen in the news, everything all,
Mm.
do you see it kind of like brewing, right? Remember during Bitcoin time, there was a lot of question about it, a lot of rumors, a lot of excitement, a lot of waiting. Every day you see a headline about Bitcoin ETF, but with Ethereum, there
Yeah.
didn't seem to be such a thing, right?
Actually, if you pay attention to the crypto news, there are headlines every now and then.
Yeah, but it's more like by the waiting.
Yeah, by the waiting. That's also because the SEC couldn't really agree on some of the terms that all these ETF issuers have. So there's some ding dong here, ding dong there to change some of the regulations and all that. That's why it dragged all the way until now. Only the ETF got launched.
Right, yeah. Now, nonetheless, don't you feel that it did not gather the same excitement?
Correct.
Like from the start itself,
Mm.
like even before its launch itself,
Yep.
you would have kind of a little bit guessed that
Mm.
it may not do as well.
Yeah, like can feel one because you see the words that's being used in media when Bitcoin ETF launch, right?
Oh,
Wow, it was like all the strong words come out, like it's going to go to the moon lah, this and that.
yes.
But when this this Ethereum ETF is in the process of coming out, then the news are rather normal kind of words. The tone are a bit normal, like, oh yeah, it's coming out already, so you all should be prepared. Yeah, this thing is happening. SEC still haven't give approval, but you all wait lah. Yeah, that kind of tone. So it's different lah. So from there, I also gauge that okay lah, maybe the market is not too excited about this thing.
Yeah. From what I've seen is that I felt it wasn't very exciting. Market sentiment wise, it was just like, oh, okay, by having a Ethereum ETF, it just further legitimizes cryptocurrency.
But I think that's the most important point in this entire exercise.
That's right.
Because as more and more ETFs come into play, right, it just gives more legitimacy to crypto assets. It becomes more and more acceptive and how to say the mainstream buys it even more.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So as we progress, then I think it's a maturing of an asset class.
Yeah. So, but I don't see that same thing, like I was saying.
Huh?
I mean, I don't see the same excitement as Bitcoin.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
So my point is that I felt that the anticipation towards Ethereum ETF was like what you say. For most people, it was more like a chop sign, more approved right now, more legitimized, right? Rather than like, whoa, finally people have access to cryptocurrency, that one tada.
Okay.
So what happened was that, just to give you a brief statistics, right? Apparently on the first day, they only managed to garner about 16% of what Bitcoin got. Yeah,
16%. And second day, immediately a lot of people actually sell some of the ETFs.
Yep.
There's like 100 over million of outflow from all these ETF funds. So people suddenly got scared and were like, huh? this thing.
How come launch
Yeah,
ETF drop
correct,
price?
correct,
Yeah.
correct. So what's gonna happen next, right? Are people gonna continue to withdraw funds from this ETF, or this is just the beginning? People just trying to wait and see, and then going to go in again to buy the dip and all that. So this is something that we will go into it later also on.
Yeah. But nonetheless, I would say that whether or not at the moment the ETF launched, then price go down and stuff like that. I think Bitcoin ETF also was kind of similar, right? When it launched, after a while, then it went down. You know, there was a period of time where it's a little bit volatile, unstable, and so on. I would say that in the crypto world, ups and downs is something that you just gotta get used to.
Yep.
Even right now, it's still kind of like ups and downs, right? Yeah,
It is still quite drastic actually, especially on ETF after the outflow yesterday, right? Then
That's right.
people got a bit scared.
That's right. I think everyone just have to remember this point, right? The idea of having an ETF is not so much about pushing the prices up. The idea about ETF is about giving it access for especially bigger fund houses.
Correct.
Like I'm not talking about hedge fund. I'm talking about like institutional funds, sovereign funds who are more well regulated, you know, and stuff like that. Now, so when an ETF such as Bitcoin or either ETH comes out, it will take time because the buying decision does not happen in a day.
Correct. So put it this way, right? A lot of all these institutional funds, their mandate only allows them to buy assets from like your trading platform. And anything that is not listed on the trading platform one, then basically they cannot really touch it. And all these crypto assets, they are not in your typical platform. They are all in exchanges like Kraken, Binance, that kind of stuff, right? Coinbase and all that. So in order for them to get access to this kind of asset, then that's one of the key reasons why all these BlackRock, Fidelity and all, they created this thing called the ETF. They bundle up all these assets so that they are able to list these assets on your typical stock trading platform. Then now it becomes an asset that fund managers or all these institutional investors can also get access to. Then suddenly their mandate allows them to invest in all these things again. Then it's up to them whether they can get approval from their management to buy to invest in some of these ETFs. So it opens up more doors for early adopters to get access to this kind of investment tools.
Yeah, so I think those are the things that we need to remember. And it's kind of like, if you were to put in the real world scenario, right, it's kind of like today, if you have a highway, remember Dash Highway when it first came up? Yeah, not many people use it on what? Then after a while, then more and more people using it, right? Yeah, so it's the same thing. People need to get used to it. Nowadays, we don't even talk about Bitcoin ETF that much already.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's just like another day.
Yeah, the flow
road,
flow is actually quite stable already.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who are quite interested to know the flows of ETF, Bitcoin ETF, Ethereum ETF, there's actually one website that you can go and check on a daily basis. It gets updated on a daily basis. This website is called farsight.co.uk. FARSIDE, farsight.co.uk. Every day they will tell you how much value of Bitcoin and ETF is going in or out. So from there, you can get a gauge of how much money is going in and how much money is going out. So a lot of people tend to use this as a guide to see whether on that day Bitcoin price or Ethereum price is going to go up or down.
Yeah, now let's move on to the next part of the thing, right? Is that, which you briefly mentioned, and we want to go into that, was the idea that maybe Ethereum, the fundamental itself or the concept of the Ethereum itself is not something that is that exciting when it comes to ETF.
When you put into ETF, then
there's a couple of reasons there, right? So here's time that we get a little bit technical.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, when we talk about Ethereum as a cryptocurrency, right? You have to understand there's a difference between Bitcoin. Now, the whole fundamental thing about Bitcoin is this: Bitcoin will only have 21 million Bitcoin produced. It will go halving, every 4 years, about a certain amount of cycles. Then after that, it's just gonna get less and less supply until it reaches 21 million. The whole idea of Bitcoin is very simple.
Yep.
It's scarce. 21 million. That's
Correct.
all.
That's the whole idea.
Story.
The programming is also very straightforward, very basic one.
Yes.
There's no funky stuff inside.
Number two is the decentralized character of it, which is no one has a control over Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yep.
technically it's very, very hard because you need to have what,
Unless you buy
51%
51% of
of
Bitcoin.
all the Bitcoin in the world, which is really quite
Correct.
difficult, stuff like that. Yeah. So that itself is one of the reason. Now, then let's talk about Ethereum. But Ethereum doesn't fall in the same rule. A lot of people thought that Ethereum is actually limited. No, Ethereum is unlimited, huh? Ethereum is unlimited.
Unlimited, correct.
Yeah. Ethereum actually works more like a country.
Yeah.
Yeah. it really works like a country's currency. Right? How it works is that under Ethereum, they say that, okay, let's say assuming this new country called the Ethereum land, right? Yeah, and what they do is that they have all this technology and infrastructure, and they encourage all of you all to come here and build your infrastructure and your businesses here. And these businesses are all called dApps, right? Decentralized apps, dApps, right? Then you go over there and then you build your dApps. But when you build a dApps, right, you need to pay for the usage, right?
Pay for the infrastructure.
Now you need to pay for the infrastructure. Like you come into Malaysia and trade, you need to have Malaysian ringgit. Yeah, your staying, your accommodation, your everything else. You pay rent, on Malaysian ringgit lah. So now in order to pay for all this, you need to use the Ether coin, right? When you use the Ether coin, then you can use it to pay for your business activity. Yeah, which is your dApps activity.
Correct. And when all these transactions are being transacted inside the Ethereum land, then somebody needs to go and verify it, ma.
Yes.
So that's where it is similar to Bitcoin. So the system would have to go and solve a very sophisticated mathematical formula in order to verify that the transaction is correct and it is correct lah. Yeah. So to match those transactions.
That's right.
And once the formula is matched, then what happens is that new Ethereum coin will be generated as a reward for the entity that helped to solve all these problems.
Yes. So think about it. Like imagine the collection of the payment, right, is to pay to say like Malaysia LHDN.
Yes.
Then
tax.
The income tax the income tax entities around there are many of it. Then these people have to solve those problems and verify that everything is correct. Then they get paid in newly minted ethers.
Yes.
Right? Now, the rule is this. If you want to be the LHDN, all you need to do is apply a license and book out a kedai. You just open an office. So how to open an office? You need to commit X amount of Ether. Then you get to open your own office to do this verification process.
Yes.
So now, if you have excess Ether, you can actually borrow your excess Ether to a guy who wants to open this office to do the verification. And this person will be able to generate new Ether and he will give you a percentage. So that's the concept of staking.
Correct.
Yeah. So for those of you who want to understand how it works, that's generally the idea, right? Now, after ETH came out with this concept, I think many other different
altcoins, they also use this similar
concept, right? Solana, everyone else a little bit different, but kind of the same, at the same time. And what do they compete on? Speed. Yeah, right. That's pretty much right. Speed and new technology, and stuff like that. Very detailed but that's the point. Just see who's better version of a country. Like, are you Singapore or are you Thailand? That kind of idea, right? Yeah. If you go Philippines, you wanna travel around no proper road, that kind of thing. Yeah. So basically, that's what they are competing on. Now, and because they are a government, so
it has a governing body.
Yeah, it has a governing body. So it is centralized control suddenly. So that's why it's very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some people don't like the idea of a cryptocurrency which is supposed to be decentralized to have a governing body like Ethereum like that.
That's right. Yeah. So the idea is that crypto is supposed to be decentralized. How come you're centralized? So that's the question that people are asked to start with. Now, but this leads us to the next thing, right, of the ETF. If today you have Ethers, you can actually loan it to someone so that they can do their mining and their proof of work, their verification, and then you get a passive income out of it, kind of like an FD. Why should I buy it on?
Correct. Why should I buy it on the ETF? Because currently, how all these cryptocurrency ETF work is that, let's say I put in, okay, so now Ethereum is about $3,000. So let's say I put $3,000 to buy Ethereum ETF. So what I actually get is somewhat one Ethereum in the form of Ethereum ETF. Basically that's it. It has no other function. Whereas just now we have already mentioned that, oh, Ethereum can actually do all these kind of things. You can put into staking, and staking generate rewards, and then it serves like a FD, a passive income to the holder. Now, if this portion of benefit of Ethereum is taken away, then it makes Ethereum a bit less attractive. Yeah. So what's the point of buying Ethereum ETF? I might as well buy Ethereum directly and then I stake it.
Yeah.
So that is one of the reasons why I think when this ETF comes up, it may not be able to garner as much demand as the Bitcoin one. Because the objective is totally different.
That's right.
Yeah.
And on the other hand also, while yes, there will be quite some institutions who don't bother about staking and they just want to have exposure.
Correct.
Yeah. But there are also other forms of like maybe smaller hedge fund and so on who does not need to comply to these kind of standards. They can actually just do the option with staking.
Okay, correct. So I think so the interesting thing, the interesting opinion that I have on this Ethereum ETF, right, is that because all this ETF is managed by fund managers, and fund managers' best ability is to think of ways to make money, right? So this is a problem, and I'm pretty sure all these fund managers know that this is a problem, that the demand may not be as great as Bitcoin because people can simply buy Ethereum themselves and stake it. So in order to make it at least on par in terms of attractiveness of Ethereum ETF, right, I'm pretty sure they're working ways to maybe talk to the regulators to see whether they are able to stake their Ethereum or not, then perhaps generate some reward and then share with the holders as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
if they are able to do that, then I think the story may change.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time.
I think it's just a matter of time.
That will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I think let's go into a little bit of fundamental as well. Yeah, since today we're on this topic, right?
Yes.
I think nothing much to talk about the Ethereum ETF. I would say that I'm not too concerned because usually after a while it will just normalize.
Yes.
Yeah, all these are just news,
Correct. Today is just second day only, so
Yeah,
wait longer,
like
right?
that, and in my opinion, it doesn't really affect the future of crypto in a big scale, per se. Yeah, that's my opinion towards it. No, and I wouldn't be surprised if later we're gonna be talking about Solana ETFs, and whatnot, right? Then it is kind of like LV open another new shop in Tracks, or either like Apple open a shop in a
Pavilion,
like Apple Store, the new Apple Store. I mean, just by opening the Apple Store in TRX, right? So, in my opinion, it's just branding lah.
Right.
It doesn't suddenly increase
more people buying iPhone.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe tourists will like
Correct.
go there and buy because it's at least the Apple Store, right? That kind of thing. But I mean, there's only that many people in a certain sense, So I don't think at the big picture it really affects that much because there's already a lot of ways to actually acquire these cryptos. Yeah, and these are just an added on ways to further legitimize the acquisition of crypto in the legitimate financial markets.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm not too concerned. Now, going back to it, on the other hand, I think it's the best time that we talk a little bit about the fundamental of cryptocurrency, because a lot of people here will probably be thinking to themselves, right? Especially those that are not exposed to crypto. Like, what's the use of crypto in the real world? Because there's a lot of, there has been so much of argument or so much of opinion because the narrative of cryptocurrency has always been it will replace the use of normal currency. So let's get done with that in our opinion again, right? Do you think crypto will ever replace normal currency in daily use?
I think that is too big of a word to say that it is a replacement of a currency of a daily use. But having said that, I think it has a very good chance that it will become an asset for people to store the value of the wealth.
Okay, let's not go there first.
Okay.
Yeah, don't jump it.
All right. So let's talk about currency first.
Currency, why? If you don't think so, why?
Okay. One very simple reason. Governments will not give up their power on the currency. So if you want to come to my country to do trades in my country, you better use my currency. So
That's right.
at least I can control like how much tax I can collect, what are the things that you cannot do. If you use my currency to do hanky-panky stuff, then I have to right to actually maybe sue you or something like that. But if you use a decentralized currency, then it's very hard for a government to impose this kind of rules to the users of the currency.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think the country currency will ever go away.
That's right. I
Mm.
don't think a country currency will ever go away. It's
Yes.
not just a matter of volatility.
Yes.
It is a matter of giving up the sovereign power of a nation
Mm.
to control their economy. Yeah. When the beauty of Bitcoin, let's say put it in Bitcoin, it's a non-government censure thing. So what happened is that the argument here is this, right? If today you buy a house and tomorrow there's a war and government say I want to seize this house, you cannot say anything, you know.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the only thing that proves that this house is yours is the grant.
Yeah.
And the grant is given to you by the government.
That's right. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's freehold, leasehold, or anything.
Yeah.
Remember during World War II time, the army would just go in and say, "Oh, I'm gonna use this."
Mm.
Then what are you gonna do? Hey, this house is mine, freehold.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can say because government has full control. It's like when people say like, "Hey, no, at least I got a property." Well, property in Iran looks good. Yeah, does it matter if you have a property in Iran?
It's dangerous.
Yeah. So that is the first thing, right? Now, but why is it there? Is because government get control and they can control the asset, they can seize it. Now, what the biggest problem for a lot of people is that to move currency around. If let's say tomorrow you were to migrate to the Australia or either migrate to UK or whatnot, right? It's not that easy to just take out your money and then go on. Yeah, there's a lot of problems.
Yep. I think in Malaysia, if you take out more than 10,000 or 50,000 or something like that, a certain amount, then you need to declare why you need to take out this money, what is it for, and stuff like that.
That's right.
Yeah, that is because they want to curb you from doing money laundering and terrorists, that kind of stuff.
Yep. So to bring a big amount of money in and out of the country is always a problem. So that's why you always need to declare if you bring more than how much, right? Now, when it comes to cryptocurrency, it can't be censored. You can just walk in with your. You don't even need to walk in with your cold wallet, put it this way.
Yeah, you just need to remember your
seed phrase.
Your seed phrase.
Yeah, it lives on the internet. That's all. So what happens is the government doesn't have power, and I cannot imagine any government who's willing to give up their power. Yeah, as simple as that. If a government decides to give up its power, what happens is that it will be too easily manipulated, and yeah, the chances are the government won't stay in power that long. So this comes down to human behavior. Yeah. So whether or not it is volatile or not, that's another story. But I just don't think it will happen. At least not.
At least not in our generation.
Yeah, at least not the way that I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will take a great black swan. Yeah.
But speaking about Bitcoin, right? There's a very interesting development in this space. So Donald Trump, he's going to attend the Bitcoin conference.
That's right. Week. So that's a more exciting news.
Yeah, correct. So there's a lot of speculation of number one, why he's going to the Bitcoin conference and what he may say during the conference. Right? So there's a lot of speculation going on.
So apparently one of the biggest speculation is that he may announce that if he wins the presidency, he is going to make Bitcoin as one of the reserve currencies for the country.
A strategic reserve.
Yes. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to give up everything, then that becomes the thing, but it's just going to be part of the basket of assets.
Correct.
Yeah. Which then, now this really turns the narrative around. Yeah.
Yeah, first maybe I can just explain what is a strategic reserve first, right? So have you heard of this term SPR, Strategic Petroleum Reserve?
Yep.
So when the oil price is low and the US thinks that it is quite cheap, what they will do is they will buy a lot of crude oil and they will store it in this place called a Strategic Petroleum Reserve. What is it for? Is for things like if emergency happens, if suddenly they cannot find oil, then they will release this reserve so that the people in the country can continue to use. Or if there's war, then people don't want to sell the US oil, then at least they have a reserve that they can utilize. So in terms of currency reserve, it will be used during emergencies as well. So let's say, for example, if suddenly US dollar falls down quite drastically, then they can unlock this reserve to actually protect the currency.
Yep.
They can also use this currency, this strategic reserve, to become a guarantee for a US dollar loan. So when Donald Trump talked about this Bitcoin strategic reserve, I think partially is the same objective as having a currency reserve, a strategic currency reserve, is for either emergency if something goes wrong with the US dollar, or to use it to guarantee the US dollar loan. Because US dollar loan is like trillion, right? I think 30 over trillion or something.
That's right.
Which is all-time high. So if you have something more solid like that, because people starting to lose confidence in US dollar, and you have a different kind of collateral, then maybe people may start to see US dollar differently again. So I think the speculation is there.
Yeah. I think that's the part that gets really interesting. What are they going to really do with it? We are not sure. But let me just give you another very very sad side of the story of how this kind of a strategic reserve was being played. I'm not sure whether is it used as the term strategic reserve. But do you remember last time we read Sejarah? Malaysia used to be one of the largest rubber producer. Then how did the rubber price crash and kill many rubber industry in Malaysia? Was because when the rubber price was rather low, what happened is that UK bought a lot of rubber. They bought all of it from the market, and later as Malaysia keep producing, then because they bought it cheap, they go and throw the price. So when they throw the price, then people started buying rubber from them because they bought it cheaper, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So then now you have to sell it at the market price, right? Then you lose. Yeah. So but that's a little bit unrelated. But what I'm saying is that there is a potential to be used by that. But the good thing is this. Well, there is already quite a lot of Bitcoin being taken up.
There's not much left.
Not much left. Yeah.
So if they really want to build a reserve, they are not going to build like $500 million, right?
Yes. It may cause a jitter a bit, but it will. I don't think it's going to kill the market, even if they try to do that, because moving ahead as halving is very little and the price is so high, and there's already a lot of whales who actually got even bigger numbers than that, right? So, and if they throw out, I think many of these whales are more than happy to just sapu it. Yeah, that's from time to time what we have seen so far. Yeah. So
the point to make here is that it's actually quite difficult to start a Bitcoin reserve.
Yes,
because there
it's
is not enough
manipulate. Yeah, and it's also quite hard to start a reserve, as in if you're looking at reserve like the idea of gold, where you have a lot of gold, where you have the most gold. But on the other hand, because Bitcoin has this deflationary characteristic, it makes it a very, very useful reserve currency for them, because the value keeps going up.
Yep.
Yeah, and this time round the value goes up. It's not a property where the value go up and then it's still your country, that kind of thing. So it's like very right. Yeah, but this is
it is free to use, free to be liquidated anywhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
And as the market and as Bitcoin price goes up, their reserve goes up automatically. Yeah.
That's why I say it makes a lot of sense to use that to guarantee their loan. Yeah, because the collateral value will go up over time, right? So it makes their currency stronger and stronger and stronger.
That's right. So those are some of the ideas that is behind the possibility of it. Yeah, but we are definitely not sure.
Not sure, but keep an eye on what Trump has to say lah.
Yes, but nonetheless, Trump has already positioned himself as the crypto supporter. Despite the fact he was one of those guys who said that crypto is only being used by criminals.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think all of us used to say it before we invested. Yeah. So forgiven, I suppose. Yeah. Nonetheless, if he wins, looks like he's trying to bang on the crypto votes. Yeah.
Looks like it.
But apparently, a lot of people also don't really buy, don't really care. Yeah. Especially those OG people. It's like, I mean, crypto was already growing before.
True.
Yeah. So it doesn't make you any, In fact, I was listening to this podcast, right? They were saying that right now, a lot of people are so happy that the government is endorsing it, or at least the possible government in future is endorsing it. Then he said this one thing. Well, crypto was never, ever designed in such a way to gain endorsement from government. They endorse or not, what's it going to do with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be decentralized. Nobody's supposed to care.
That's right. It just means that there's one extra buyer, and this buyer quite rich.
Okay lah. So the catalyst here is that if a government endorse it, means that the government will buy a lot of Bitcoin, right? Because as a government, you cannot be buying $2,000 of Bitcoin.
No.
When you buy it, it has to be big amount.
That's
So
right.
that will create demand for cryptocurrencies.
And more importantly is that because government is buying, there will be some sort of a policy regulations that will come out to make it easier for them to buy. Because government don't just buy themselves, but they buy through a lot of agencies, right? And these agencies work within the regulatory framework. And so the law has to say that, or the policy has to state that, people can buy, Yeah, and then they have to come up with these kind of policies.
Yep.
Yeah, so that would be the exciting part that we are looking at.
Yes.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I think there are quite a lot of questions down there. Would you like to move on to some of the questions first?
Can. I think I start with the latest one, Ultra Boom. If you didn't break the law, why should you worry about your account frozen? And Malaysia is quite stable, unlike other countries at war, which I can understand crypto being used, but they usually just use US dollar. Now, we are not talking about breaking the law. We're not talking about account being frozen. Just for the fact that, let's say, for example, I'm currently now in Malaysia and I want to migrate to Australia. The entire process of thinking about, hey, now all my properties are in Malaysia. I need to buy a house there, but I don't have money, so I need to sell my Malaysian property and go there. The documentation that needs to be done. Once I sold the property, it's all in ringgit. How do I transfer it to Australian dollar? There's a lot of things that you need to worry about before you can move to Australia. As compared to if your asset is in something decentralized like Bitcoin. All you need to do is to remember your seed phrase, buy an air ticket, fly to Australia, you liquidate your Bitcoin into US dollar, then straight away you can start your life there. You can buy house, you can do your education and whatnot. So it becomes more seamless and efficient in this kind of world where everything is so fast paced, right? And you don't want to be bogged down by all the bureaucracy that you need to go through. So we are coming from that angle, but of course, if you are a criminal and all that, then that's a different story lah. Yeah.
Okay, so just to share with you, right? The whole idea here is not about this. It's about not just criminal, but you think about it, right? Remember Sajat? Yeah, that lady.
Yeah.
That lady, man lady. Yeah, the transsexual, right?
Yes.
Yeah, put it this way, right? Yeah. She went to Australia because she was being persecuted, or in her opinion, she's being persecuted for her transsexual identity. Do you know her house in Kota Damansara is being seized for by the government? It's
didn't
seized
know.
by the government.
Oh, just because.
I mean, there's a lot of complication
Okay.
between, like, I'm sure they will say, like, got tax issue as well, blah, blah, blah. The point is, she ran away. She ran away. Because she's a transsexual, she ran away. She didn't commit big crimes, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. But based on Malaysia Code of Conduct, definitely she shouldn't be a transsexual, or he shouldn't be a transsexual. Went to the Australia, and the government seized all her or his property. Yeah, and now government is trying to auction it off. Yeah, and this money is gonna go to government. Yeah. So you don't need big criminal acts. Yeah. Now, let me give you another example. Do you know there's this thing called Executive Order 6102?
What is this? Malaysia one? Is it a Malaysia law?
It was in the US.
Oh, really?
And this came out, during the 1933.
So old?
Yeah.
Okay, what does it say?
Okay. It was ordered to restrict the use of private gold. The only entity in the US during the time that allows to own gold is the US government. If you have a gold, you have to surrender your gold.
Not even sell it.
Nope, you have to surrender. They will give you back some money at $35 per ounce. That's basically it. Yeah. So, if you're found with it, it's a criminal offense. So the point is this: it is not just about criminal law. Yeah.
It's about government policy.
Yes, it's about government policies that can be put in to target certain individuals if, let's say, things happen. Now, there's good, there's bad, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth, right? Yeah. There's a lot of argument in between. Let's put it on both sides, right? Let's say two countries go at war. Surely, right? Two sides also got their own supporter.
Mm.
Now, let's just make an assumption. Assumption, this is not happening. You all know that India and China got mini war, right? Got like mini war, mini conflict at their borders.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of like love-hate relationship a little bit. Yeah. If let's say they were to go on a full war, I just say China and Taiwan. Easy to understand. China and Taiwan, if they go into full war, I'm sure some countries will support Taiwan.
Some countries will support China.
Then what they're gonna do? They're gonna imply this thing called sanctions, right? Yeah.
Which happened before lah, like the Ukraine and Russian war like that.
That's right. Yeah. Now, why I use these two examples because that one already happened, so there is already sides taken, so I don't want to offend anyone.
Right.
But the point is, whether it's right or wrong, it's on both sides to say,
Because each side will say the other side is the wrong one.
But either way, when you have asset at the other side, you're in trouble.
That's true.
So that is the problem. That is the problem.
Then the people on the other side buta kena lah.
Yeah, so for those who are wondering why government censure becomes something very important is because of this. Yeah, it's because of this whole issue. Yeah.
You want to take one question?
Yeah, let's take one question. What's one good question do you think we should be looking at? AA2K Lao. More food for thought. How about when an authority requests said account to be frozen for whatever reason, said authority comes up with this. Said authority comes up with, is this stealing? And what guardrails exist to prevent this? Correct. This exactly is what we were talking about. Yeah, what guardrails are there to prevent this? Like, I think Sajat case is a very easy, easy one to actually talk about. Now, I think WJ Lee said something very good. Yeah. There's good and bad crypto. There's good and bad fiat. That is quite true. Right?
Yeah.
There's good and bad crypto. There's good and bad fiat.
You know when during pandemic and all that, when people talk about Bitcoin, and then Warren Buffett also say this is a criminal coin and all that, people only use it for criminal and whatnot, right? But you see, as the thing progress, more and more people starts to adopt it. Then suddenly, majority of people using cryptocurrencies are good people now. Right? It's just like your fiat currency. Most people are good people, right? So, but there are also bad people using your fiat money, right? So then, do you call those currency a bad currency? So the point I want to make is that if this cryptocurrency gets even more adoption to the point that it becomes so mainstream, right? Then perhaps people will not think about whether this is good or bad anymore. It's just who is using it, and then should we come up with some sort of monitoring system to make sure that more people are on the good side instead of the bad side?
Yeah. In my opinion, to a certain extent as well, right? I don't think, based on the current day and age, if you're smart, you'll buy anything using Bitcoin.
Oh, you'll buy today at 65,000.
True or not?
Tomorrow you don't know how much is it.
Even if the guy selling cocaine, he say you pay me in Bitcoin, right? Yeah. If the fella is in his right mind, he won't be giving him Bitcoin, I'm very sure.
Correct.
He'll be like, no, just take my USD.
Correct. Because I don't know.
Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, later tomorrow go up 50%. Yeah. Heart pain.
The coke just went up by 50% in price.
Correct.
Yeah. So I don't think anyone is going to do that. Yeah. So I think that the chances of Bitcoin being used as an illegal transaction has decreased quite a bit in terms of those more crime. But if you say it's a ransom kind of thing, they force you to give their Bitcoin.
Correct.
That's a different story. Yeah, that's highly targeted. Yeah, that's highly targeted. For someone to actually target you for that, they have to know that you have Bitcoin and the amount of Bitcoin. Yeah.
Then the question becomes, how do you declare income from Bitcoin? After you liquidate the Bitcoin, how you explain to authorities where the money come from?
Here's where, right? I say one. I hear from people. So the idea is this. Let's say you have 100 Bitcoin. You decided to leave Malaysia or leave Singapore. Okay. Safer. You leave Singapore, you go to Thailand.
Mm,
Then how are you supposed to take out money, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Now, the good thing is that almost every country right now have some sort of a regulated exchange.
Mm.
Mm. This is what I noticed.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right?
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
some sort of a regulated
Yeah.
exchange. You just transfer money to a regulated exchange.
They'll
You,
ask you where the Bitcoin come from.
you don't need to transfer 100. True or not?
That's true.
Where got people going to transfer 100?
Uh,
You transfer 0.01.
0.1
Then
and
take out you use for a few days, you transfer a little bit again.
Yeah.
Who else you going to transfer 100?
true, true.
Yeah, you can transfer 100, then you
Mm.
problem already, true or not? Now, the issue is that you're probably asking yourself, if you want to buy a house, then you take a few weeks to slowly transfer a bit,
Mhm.
no? There's
Mm.
always some sort of a limit, no?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, then, but in my opinion, go and get a job lah. Then
Mm.
get payslip,
Yep.
loan, no? Yeah. I wouldn't even buy a house with Bitcoin.
Mm. Okay, so this is what I noticed, right? I'm not sure about other jurisdiction, but Malaysia is that I think if you deposit cryptocurrencies into your exchanges, those regulated exchanges in Malaysia, I don't think they ask you where the Bitcoin comes from. But if you sell those crypto assets and withdraw it out back to your bank account, then there's a limit. Then I think that is something that maybe you need to call the exchange and say, hey, potentially I want to buy a house that is more than this limit, so how can I withdraw the money?
Yep.
Yeah, so there is still some sort of regulation there to control, right? So it is not to say that it is really wild west that you can do everything.
Correct.
Right?
That's right. You need to and I don't think there's any wrong declaring your income tax with it.
Yeah. I think it's
I
fine.
mean, if let's say government after you just pay some tax lah, just pay lah. Don't
Correct.
Don't be an idiot lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, move on to the next thing. I just want to highlight one thing that Waypoint Ventures say. All trans will start buying crypto now. He said, no, I say, okay? Yeah. Maybe if you got trans friend or anything, you may want to send it to them. Now, the next thing that maybe to end today's session with, right? I believe if you have a question, you can also put it up there and ask us. But let's just end by talking about this one thing. What are your 3 favorite cryptocurrencies and why?
Okay. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Polygon.
Oh.
Matic. Yeah, I have these 3.
Okay.
But I'm a bit disappointed with Matic.
Oh,
Yeah. So
okay.
when I look into Matic, it was very exciting because even companies are looking at how to use Matic to do a daily transaction. Like for example, Disney was talking about how can I use Web3 technology to manage my ticketing system in the theme park. And they were looking into Matic as the core base to do that. So when I look into it, I was quite attracted to that kind of narrative. But ever since then, there's very little updates about what's going on there. So prices also started to come down a bit.
Right. So that we are talking about the Web3 lah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Having said that, now for those who are interested in understanding more about blockchain, so blockchain is the utility behind all this cryptocurrency. That's where the real infrastructure is.
Yes.
That's where the less exciting part is. That's where the nerds will hang out. But more importantly, that's also the place where if you find a career, you get quite highly paid. Yeah. Now, Malaysia is going to be having their blockchain weekend. It's going to be on the 31st of August. Yeah, and we are going to be their media partners. So we will be there on that day. So we are suggesting that for those of you who want to check out, go and check out our IG, and stuff like that. Soon we are going to post up some links. But if let's say you can't wait for the link, just go to Malaysia Blockchain Weekend. Go and check out. Go and get yourself a ticket. Our team will be there on that day. We'll be there to do some recording, talk to different people.
Yep.
I think for those of you who are really interested to find out more, about blockchain, about Web3, the utility side of it, I would suggest you go over there.
Yep. There are a lot of heavyweight speaker on that itself.
That's right. Get some opportunities lah. Yeah, so we will be there as well. Now, myself, what are my top 3? My number 1 obviously is Bitcoin lah. Nothing to say lah. Number 2 is Solana.
Oh, Solana.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Ethereum is not in my list.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in fact, I just sold all my Ethereum some time ago.
Wow.
I already had more Solana.
Right.
I have less Ethereum. Then the other day, before the Ethereum ETF came out, I sold all my Ethereum. That switch everything is
Interesting.
Solana.
Wow, took profit.
Now, there's a particular reason to it. Why is it so? Is because, like I say, all these altcoins like Solana, Ethereum, they are competing on technology. They are competing on speed and so on. In my opinion, because it's centralized, because there's a lot of about apps, and when you're talking about apps is a lot about real world usage. And when you're talking about real world usage, you can't run away from policies and governments, which is people, right? To a certain extent. Now you can say whatever you want about the skipping blah blah blah. I mean, put it this way you want to do an event there. That's pretty much it Yeah, you want to get big businesses. That's the thing Now, and when it comes to usage, I think many of you would prefer it to be regulated.
Yes. Yeah. More secure. I feel more secure.
That's right, right? Yeah. Now, so with that, I personally think that the Solana technology is better. Their blockchain is more competitive compared to Ethereum. That's in my opinion. I know that people who are Ether lovers will hate me. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm just a guy who do not know anything and just go based on my feeling on this. With some numbers that I see and do not understand further deeper. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Solana come out with their own phone, right? If I remember. I think.
Yeah. I'm not sure about that, but I know that there is something like that. Yeah. If I can recall, it's there but
yeah, Solana mobile, Web3 on the go.
Yes. So now the Solana phone. Correct. Now the point is, the fundamental of Solana is the same in the sense where it's about apps, building upon it, and stuff like that. Now, let's not forget these days, blockchain can communicate with each other. It's not a single entity in its own. So, if you're competing about speed, it's kind of like talking about Malaysia versus Singapore, or Indonesia versus Singapore, or highway speed. German highway better or Malaysia highway better. Obviously, German highway got no speed limit, right? It should go faster, So that's the kind of idea, My concept that's based on. Okay. Now, my next favorite coin will be Chainlink, but again, I'm not sure whether will I still make it my favorite coin. Yeah, because the question is
maybe other coins also can do what Chainlink do.
Yeah. Although it's the market leader for what they do. Right. So Chainlink, for those of you who don't know, is actually kind of like an oracle coin. So an oracle, for those of you who do not know what is when you're talking about blockchain, if let's say today you want to build say a weather forecast
insurance,
for a dApp, right? That does that. Now, how do you know whether the sky is raining or not raining? You need something to go and tell the blockchain. Right? So what is the thing that can tell the blockchain is actually Chainlink. Yeah. So when you build this oracle, then you need to pay via the Chainlink coin. Yeah. So that is a link coin. Then that's my idea behind it. And Chainlink is actually one of the dominant player in the market. In fact, one of the largest. Yeah. Or let's just put it this way, the largest. So that's my bet on it in terms of the utility area. Now, however, we never know.
Yeah, the technology advanced so quickly day by day, right?
Yeah. So I'm still more Bitcoin person now, ultimately.
Yeah. Bitcoin is the most straightforward, simple, easy.
Yeah. And the strategy that I employ, as usual, is dollar cost averaging.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I don't go and speculate from morning and night. Every month I just throw in a little bit of money and I just see it accumulate. That's what I do. Now, let's move on to pick up just probably one or two questions. Since there's two questions, one from AK2, Lau, and there is one more from MYEG blockchain, and the last one is Big, formerly used as Cake. There's three questions there. Let's just pick two. You pick one, I pick one.
Okay, I will pick this. Market is overreacting to Mt. Gox or price in. I was also following this news quite closely because you're talking about 9 billion worth of Bitcoin potentially coming to the market and sell it off, right? But from what I read, I don't know how true is that actually a lot of people who got back the money from these Mt. Gox, they decided to keep it. They don't want to sell, which I think makes sense. I mean, like everyone talk about, okay, Bitcoin just half, so there's potential that it can go to 100,000, whatever narrative that people read, right? If you sell it now, the opportunity cost is quite huge, you know. So might as well, since I got my money back already, okay, which is a relief. So why not I treat it as durian runto, and I see where this durian runto can bring me to. Perhaps I can double my money again. Yeah, so there's no urgency to sell. So I think it's not about overreacting or not. Is maybe if you put yourself in those victim shoes, and if you get back your money, how would you do? And is more victims will think like you also. If you think more victims will think like you, then potentially there's very little selling pressure in the market.
There's also the other part of the story, right? Let's not forget to use Mt. Gox wasn't easy. Yeah, it means that many of these guys who actually use Mt. Gox were likely also really crypto heads.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Yeah, so there could be a chance that, you know, like, wow, yeah, I got back my old crypto, yeah. Now I get more, you know, got hodl.
That's true.
Yeah, that could be a chance, right? I'll just pick one out of all this is, do y'all still use Big, formerly Kick DeFi? The answer is no. Actually, I think what happened is that we use Big quite a bit. Then subsequently, when Big Kick DeFi went down in terms of the coin, what was the name of the coin? Yeah,
DUSD.
Oh yeah, DUSD and which one? Yeah, DeFi chain. Yeah, DeFi chain. Yeah. So when the coin went down, and crypto, all the other rest of the crypto went down. Well, I did one thing. Actually, it's not just towards all these coin. Even my stock also the same thing. I kind of cash out
all
the
go
loss
into Bitcoin.
and all go into Bitcoin. Because I know that now when the market is down, when the market recover, what's the first thing that's gonna go up?
Bitcoin.
Is the market leader, So it makes sense, right?
Yep.
After Bitcoin go up, you need to wait for probably quite a while before other coins go up. But so and now everything is at the bottom. It doesn't matter whether you switch now. So in a lot of people's eye, they are thinking, why are you willing to accept this loss or cash out? Then you really lose. Actually, that's not how the game works. My coin dropped by 90%. Bitcoin dropped by 80%. As far as I'm concerned, for this coin to go up in price, Bitcoin need first go up in price first. So does it make sense that I just sell everything and then put it there first? Yeah.
Make that round of money first.
Make the round of money first.
Think later.
Yeah. Same thing with like my stock, right? Those that remain, I switch it over to tech. Because tech is the one that will go up first, right, usually.
Correct. Growth stocks.
So that's what I did. Just follow the trend. Now there are some companies or certain things that I believe that is a long-term hold. Those I hold long-term more. But those that I don't really see like, maybe it's time to make some money, that I can switch quite a bit into it. So because of that, I didn't quite use it. But also because of that, it was quite good. Because after that, they had more arguments. Suddenly, what happened was that they had argument, right?
Correct. The CFO and the CEO, they don't see eye to eye. Then they even went to court.
Yeah, then because of that, the price went down, right? So the one can't be avoided. Just like any crypto project, if they fight, then
then
they
it's bad
will. Yeah, but they are still operating.
Yep. Because it's a blockchain, blockchain you cannot stop.
Yeah, they're still operating. They're still fine. It's just that, not the reputation not so good already, or because they fought.
Yes.
Yeah. So sometimes personal problems can also make your whole project look bad.
So must be careful. Be careful with the project that you invest in.
Yeah, be careful with the project that you invest in. Yeah, we're not saying the big is bad. Big is actually fundamentally looks okay.
Yeah. It's just that the reception from the market is not that good right now.
Yeah, because they fought. That's quite weird, right? Actually, you think about it. It feels weird to say. It's kind of like it's kind of like in a company, the two directors spiked, then the stock price went down.
That's true also for stock.
Right.
Usually it's like that. The two directors fight out, then the share price will go down.
Yeah. True. Actually, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It reminds me of CMSB that time. Yeah lah.
Yeah lah. When there's a management problem, sure the share price will come down.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we stopped using it. We channel everything back to Bitcoin because of that reason that I mentioned just now.
Yep.
Well, so that's all about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Someone suggested that we should talk about e-invoicing.
E-invoice next week.
Yeah, I heard that e-invoice the denda is quite chalak
Mm.
Mm.
It's going to come in August, right?
Hey, maybe you should do a proper full YouTube video on that.
On e-invoice.
Yeah, that could be a good idea. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, that's all about it for tonight. If you missed the episode today, feel free to go and check out our Spotify called The Real Money Show. And for those of you who love us to actually do more episodes like this, because we realize that these days live, we do have a solid group of followers, right?
Yeah, like
about
WJ
60,
Lee, Ultra Boom,
Yes.
TWOG.
That's right. But about 60 plus of them.
Mm.
So we are getting suggestion from our team. They are suggesting that maybe we should stop our live actually. They say not many people watch. Yeah, and then you are only 60 people engaged with you, and more people actually listen to your recording. So why not we all just do a curated episode and leave this kind of engagement events to a real live event.
Even better.
Yeah. So cause but I do not know. I see like the weekly Thursday night as an opportunity to communicate with you guys. But our team is saying that why not just make it an offline event, then get you all to come, or either we maintain like this kind, but let's make it bigger where every Thursday night when we have it, we invite 20 of our audience to come, right? So that you guys can chat with us.
Join us in our studio. That's the point.
So we are not sure how to go about in future, but if you like the idea of coming to the studio, write studio for us in the comment. If you think that we should just do a more curated podcast instead, write podcast. But you think you want both, just write podcast and studio. Yeah, that way we will know how to go about with it.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Good night.